Christopher Nkunku's penalty helped Enzo Maresca earn his first win as the Chelsea boss, as the Blues secured a 2-goal advantage against Servette in the Conference League playoff first leg. And the Chelsea gaffer spoke after the game about the improvement he saw in the team.
The message is quite clear. We are in a moment that we are learning how to manage the game. Probably in some moment was the right thing was to do exactly the same thing, but in the opposite side. So for me, the intention to keep the ball is the correct one, especially when you are 2-0 up. So the intention is good, but probably where is not good in terms of we try to manage the ball in last 10 minutes, 15 minutes in our side, but we need to try to do exactly the same in the opposite side. So I can understand, but I think overall it was important tonight to win the game. Clean sheet. We did 9 changes. We had players like Renato, Axel, Pedro, even Mark, player that Philip, that was first game for him, official game. So many good things.
So that was Enzo Maresca then speaking after that result yesterday. Look, Ray, there's so many things going on at Chelsea. Obviously, a new manager trying to bed in with a very big squad, a lot of outgoings, a lot of incomings. How do you think he's handling it all?
Well, it's going to be a difficult job. He's got to just be the coach and go for it and, try and do the best he can with the team he's got. He's got good players. I thought they was pretty good against Man City. I know they lost the game, but they was certainly in the game when it was 1-0. They had a couple of chances and they was having a go at City's defence. But yeah, it's going to be a long, hard season. I think that this competition, look, if they play their best side every week, they should walk it, really. I know we said that about Villa as well, but they've got the quality in the squad. It's now getting the right balance, right formation, where everybody fits into the right places, and if they can do that, Maresca, and it's going to be a difficult job, but you've got to give him time, then Chelsea could have a decent season.
That's the key, though, give him time.
Yeah, you've got to give him time. I mean, you can't keep sacking managers and bringing new managers in with all the staff they've got, and players don't like that. They want the stability of a manager, and it sounds like the players are playing for him. They're having a real go for him, listening to him, what they're trying to achieve as a club. And he hasn't got a magic wand. You can't just suddenly wave it and right every week going to win easy and they're going to be in the top 4. It's a lot of good teams out there, so it's just got to give him time. But they have got the players. They've certainly got good quality in that team. It's now down to the managers to get the best out of them.
Well, the former Chelsea fullback Scott Minto, I mentioned, was on commentary duty for talkSPORT last night, and he also spoke about the club's strategy.
But that's the trouble, isn't there? We've got so many of that type of player, the £50-odd million signing, you can't pick them all.
I mean, can they go to sort of rugby and go 15? Honestly, I've no idea in terms of the amount of centre-halves. You could probably pick a back 4. You probably could. And in goal, Jorgensen did okay, and he made a really good save at the end, but didn't really have anything to do. You would imagine he would be that guy to come in. So maybe the back 5 you can kind of pick. But Caicedo, Fernandes, Lavia, do you have all 3? Well, 2 of those are £100 million worth. How many wide players have you got? Then you got Cole Palmer and Joao Felix, who are not. Christopher Nkunku, they're not sort of wide players. Nicholas Jackson you would expect to start, but he's not that kind of absolutely guaranteed 20 goals, even though actually got 17 in the end. It's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one.
Okay.
They've got lots of players, as you mentioned there. You look at their bench yesterday. I mean, Palmer, you've got Felix now, as you mentioned. You've got so many players at Chelsea. That's why they're trying to move a few on, I should imagine, before the window. But players don't have to move on these days, do they? They're on such big contracts. Mudryk, prime example, 7-8 year contract. Now, if he's not doing it and he makes sure he's training every day, working hard, but it's not working for him, he can stay there for 7 years if he wanted to and take the money and say, look, okay, it didn't work out and I'm going to go back to go somewhere else now. There's got to be somewhere along the line where you've got a bit of pride in your own career and say, look, I don't want to be sitting on the bench every week. I want to try and get out there and play football. A little bit like Smith Rowe probably at Arsenal. He's gone to Fulham. Now he's going to play a major role for Fulham. Sometimes you have to step down a level to prove people wrong and say, look, I'm going to go and play every week now and I'm going to prove that I can play at the top level. And he'll get another move to a bigger club, not disrespecting Fulham, but if he does well at Fulham now, I'm sure bigger clubs will be straighting for him in a couple of years and say, look, he's young enough to get another move higher, maybe to a Champions League club.
I mean, we've seen what's happened with Raheem Sterling. Obviously, that statement that he released before the Manchester City game when he wasn't part of that squad. obviously looks like he's being pushed out because his squad number's obviously been given I've forgotten they gave it to because there's so many players in that squad. But you've also got the Ben Chilwell situation as well. I mean, where are these two players going to go, for example?
Well, Aston Villa obviously is the rumours for Raheem Sterling, but the wages is huge he's on, isn't it?
This is it.
Well, a player's got to sometimes do a deal, hasn't he? And say, like, Chelsea can play a little bit of it, Aston Villa play a little bit of it, and then they get him off the books. If he's not going to be involved, what's the point of keeping him around the training ground? And because he's got to come in training every day still, and he can upset other players. So, for Chelsea's point of view, if they've done a deal where Villa will say, we'll pay a lot of the money, and you have to take a pay cut, and then Chelsea might have to pay him off a little bit to up his money as well. And you walk away, as simple as that. But that's the hard bit for Maresca, if I'm being honest. I think man management skills are so important now. You've got talent on the pitch. It's how you get the best out of the players, but it's also how you keep everybody happy. And if you get a few little, quite, what can I say, people in the dressing room area, I think, I'm going to go Arsenal situation, they had Ozil and people like that who's maybe upsetting other players, and it doesn't work out in that squad of players. So that's what he's got to be really careful with. If he starts upsetting some big players in that dressing room, then it can spread, and suddenly you're under pressure as a manager. And you are the one who's going to get sacked. The players don't get sacked. It's the manager who loses his job in the end. So that's why it's such a difficult job when you've got big squads of players, but you can't play them every week. And you just got to try and keep everybody going the same way, if you like, riding the same way. Because if you get a few having a go and start moaning, and you might have a problem.
Very quickly though, that statement that Sterling's representatives put out, would you have done that when you were playing? Is that something you think should be more
Not
players
really.
be doing?
No, I mean I don't like getting anybody involved. I think it's between the player and the club itself, and you don't really need to do that. I mean, again, none of your family members get involved by doing interviews. I would go mad for that. It's down to you to sort yourself out and go and see the manager, have a one-on-one with the manager and say, look, what's the plans? I want to play, I want to move on. And the manager should be understanding and say, look, I'm going to try and move you on. But then the deal, it's got to be right for both Chelsea and Raheem Sterling. And that's where sometimes it can stop or not go through because of that reason. But Raheem Sterling, how much money does he need? He's one of them situations, 29 years old, you want to be playing now. You've got 3 or 4 years at the top level probably left in your career, I should imagine. I know, look, they can play on to 35, but at the top level, especially the position he plays, is a situation where you just go out and play. And I'm sure he's going to say that. But he's no guarantee to play if he goes to Villa, though, is he?
No. Because absolutely not.
I know they've got lots of football this year. I mean, in Champions League and lots of competitions to play in, but he's not guaranteed to start, is he? They've got some good wingers.
He's not guaranteed to start, but that is something they've talked about having the opportunity potentially of having 2 squads so that they can compete in Europe as well as in the Premier League.
But it comes down to a time when money shouldn't matter. I mean, Raheem Sterling's a very, very wealthy man, So I would, if I'm in his shoes, I would be saying, look, let's go out, let's finish my career on a high, go to a place where I can really be wanted and maybe take a big pay cut and go and play. That's what I would do.
Pedro Neto, by the way, number 7. That's who got that shirt. Totally forgot.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.